Let me tell you about a crazy story that happened to my friend Sarah right before her college graduation. So it's her final year of college, and she's been working on this huge research project. We're talking about months of work, late nights, and endless revisions. The kind of project that's not just a grade, but literally her ticket to graduation. She had everything saved on her MacBook, which had always been super reliable. One night, just a week before her final deadline, she's putting the finishing touches on the paper. You know that feeling when you're almost done and you're starting to relax a little, thinking, I'm actually going to pull this off? Yeah, that was her. Until disaster struck. Out of nowhere, her screen goes black. Dead. She tries turning it back on. Nothing. Plugs it in, unplugs it, hits the power button like 100 times. Still nothing. Now imagine this. Everything, her entire project was on that laptop, and like a lot of us, she hadn't backed it up in days. At this point, she's freaking out. I mean, I would be too. So, what does she do? The next morning, she rushes to the Apple store. She's hoping for a miracle at this point because without that project, graduation's basically off the table. She explains everything to the guy at the Genius Bar, and you can just feel the tension. He takes her MacBook in the back, and the wait begins. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, the guy comes back and hits her with the worst news. Her hard drive might be failing. I can't even imagine the panic she was feeling. Graduation was just a few days away, and all her work could be gone. She was already preparing herself for the worst, thinking she'd have to start over from scratch. But then, out of nowhere, the guy at the Genius Bar comes back with a smile. He looks at her and says, "We got it. We recovered everything." I mean, can you imagine the relief? They managed to save her entire project, all her notes, everything. It was like they pulled off a miracle. And just like that, Apple didn't just save her laptop, they saved her graduation. She walked out of that store like she had just won the lottery, hugging her MacBook like it was a long-lost friend. Thanks to Apple, she submitted her project on time, graduated, and avoided what could have been the worst disaster of her college career. So yeah, Apple didn't just sell her a product, they came through when it mattered most.